Hi, this is Brad, and when my grandmother passed away, I got this leaded crystal, I guess it's a wine container. It's got grapes on it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. Well, you kind of can. And it holds like exactly half a glass, well, not half a glass, half a bottle of wine. I use it like most days for, I drink like a half a bottle and then I save it for the next day. But I had somebody tell me, hey, you really shouldn't use that because it's leaded crystal. It's probably seeping a lot of lead into the wine. So I thought I'd try to figure out how much lead it's actually leaching into the wine. I don't have the greatest test in the world, to be honest with you. I have this Culligan water test, but it's not super precise. But what it is going to tell me is if there's lead present or not present. So we'll see if there's any meaningful lead. It's used to test water, but I can't imagine why it wouldn't pick up lead in wine. It's lead or it's not, right? So the instructions were to put some wine in a glass, use this, pipette, I guess you call it, and it's going to test for lead and pesticides. So they had me wait 10 minutes, and I'm going to look at it, and it should tell us if anything's present or not. So let's see what the first one is. Hopefully I can do this without spilling the wine. It's going to be a little challenging. Give me a moment. So this one is for lead, okay? And give me a moment. Let's take a look at it. I don't know if I can focus on it. There it is. Okay. So I have to try to interpret it. So if the line, the dark line, sorry, it's not in the camera. There we go. If that dark line is to the right of, let me look at this again. So there's a number 1, 1 and a number 1, 2. And if the left line if the left line next to number 1 is darker than the right line, gosh darn it, I'm sorry that it's not focusing. I have to actually move it away for a minute so I can see it a little better. Okay, so the line to the left of 1 is definitely a lot darker. So I'm gonna try to let you see that again, maybe if this thing will focus. So you see that dark line kind of to the left, that's what they're talking about. That means it's negative, okay? So the short of it is, God, it's so hard to see this thing. I wish I could zoom in. I don't know if I can or not. Let me try to zoom in. Is that gonna help? Maybe that helps a little bit. So that dark line that you see a 1 and a 2 in the middle kind of, so it's to the left of the number 1. So that means it's testing negative for lead, okay? And again, I had wine sitting in this thing for 24 hours, pretty much exactly. And according to this, there's no lead in it. The other one is for pesticide. So let's just see what that says. And sorry about the quality of this video, but it is what it is. Same story. If it's to the left of the 1 and 2, you can kind of see the 1 and 2 there. It's negative. So it is negative. So we've got a negative test. That's better, I think. Negative test for pesticide and a negative test for lead. And I'm going to put my finger in here, kind of. So that's like 1 and that's 2. And if the darker line there is to the left of 1, that's a negative test, pesticide and lead. So I think that's about it. Let me back off a little bit. So some people had said, hey, it's really dangerous drinking out of this leaded crystal container. And, if you're drinking wine out of that, it's going to leach in and you're going to get sick and you're going to die. But it doesn't look like it. It really doesn't, from what I can see. And again, this is not like a super precise test, but I think it's legit. I tested my water with the rest of it and it seemed like it was accurate. But again, you can see both of those darker lines. I'm trying to get my finger in here somewhere. Well, there it is. Are to the left of the 1. And as I think you can see here, that is a negative. That's a negative test. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. Let me back off a little bit. I mean, I don't know about drinking out of a wine glass that has leaded crystal in it. They say lead is really bad for you. And it probably is. But I am pretty sure that this is leaded crystal. And at least in this case, sitting in wine in there for 24 hours doesn't look like it hurt anything. It doesn't look like there's any lead that would be bad for you. Maybe if you let it sit in there a really long time, but like for a day, it seems like it doesn't hurt at all. So that's all I've got. I just thought it'd be kind of interesting. Again, I mentioned, hey, grandma died, and I took this thing and I have half a bottle of wine and I saved the other half of it, as I mentioned, and people are like, oh my God, don't drink that because you're going to get lead poisoning. Well, if this test is accurate, and I'm assuming that it is, it's not picking up any lead, so I think it's okay. I think the takeaway from it probably is you know, if you're drinking something that's been around for, especially wine glass, you just pour the wine in there and you drink it, it's probably fine. In this case, 24 hours and still coming back negative. So unless you really store it for a long time, I'm guessing you're probably okay. That's all I've got. Just thought I'd do kind of a quasi-scientific test, and hopefully you found it interesting. If you have any questions, or comments, you can leave them on the remarks section here on YouTube. Thank you for your time, and enjoy your wine. And if you drink it in some lead crystal, I think as long as it's not in there too long, you're probably fine. Bye-bye.